Well, for starters, I think it brought back a desire to actually understand the craft of actually film and telling stories on film uh, in a much more intense way than I've been used to previously. I think there comes a point whereby in your advertising career where you get so, when you're handling brands and you're dealing with clients, right, you've kind of lost touch with the craft. But actually writing that script again, a long format script, and actually getting involved in the shooting, handling the cameras myself, the lenses myself, learning how to frame a shot, block a shot, learning how to make dialogue look natural and not stilted and boring. I think that's kind of made me fall in love with the craft of actually shooting film again. And I mean, think about it. Even in social media and internet, 60% of what users are actually looking at is video and film. So I think branded content and storytelling will always be around, and actually having the Fabulous 4 experience, right, to actually stir my passion in the craft again, I think that's been wonderful for me. So I'm very grateful for that experience. The biggest thing that happened to me was I quit advertising for about a year. Um, One of the reasons I took part in Fabulous 4 was I wanted to see whether I could do anything else besides being an advertising creative director. And that kind of made me decide that, yeah, it's time to go. It was my 40th birthday, I believe. It was just after my 40th. In fact, I shot the film on my 40th birthday. Yeah, it was on the birthday itself. And I realized that if I wanted to do something different, I better do it now. I'd rather stick to the big forays. So I quit. I took a year off. I went to South America. I wanted to get as far away from China as possible. So that was the other side of the earth. I spent a year traveling. Went up to California, stayed with my friend. He had a lovely pad at Santa Monica Beach. It was wonderful. So I wanted to get more stories back into my life rather than just getting mired in briefs and cracking briefs and handling brands. I think the 4.5 years in advertising in Shanghai was intense and beautiful and passionate, but at the same time it closed up my world a little, and it's a big world out there, and I just wanted to see more of it. So after I came back, I realized I was still good at it, this ad thing, but I wanted to do something different. I couldn't be an ECD of an agency again, because I realized that I'm not very good at being an employee. So I started my own agency, and it's been fun so far. And what I learned at Fabulous 4, and the fact that I'm actually pursuing film craft, has actually helped a lot, because look at the camera you're using right now. You know, it's pretty much the same one I'm using, and we're filming documentaries and films with it. It's wonderful. Well, for starters, and I guess this is the most obvious challenge and the most obvious opportunity, is big. It is enormous. If you just handled 3 provinces alone, the surrounding provinces of Shanghai, right, that's a market most agency people would dream of. But the challenge also comes with the opportunity. Is exactly the same thing. It's because it's big. Very few clients are willing to embrace something completely different. Usually they just go for the lowest common denominator because they want to try to appeal to as many people as possible. And media costs are skyrocketing. Thank God for social media, that's helped a lot. And the biggest dilemma I have right now is, there's this Chinese phrase called 接地气. So the English phrase would be, I guess, to be grounded, to do something that has grassroots appeal. But the problem is, when we keep doing that, and the clients do demand a lot of that, right? Because they actually want to make an impact, which is right, justifiably so, because it's advertising. Somehow you don't give consumers and your viewers something to reach out for, something bigger. They can say, hey, that's very different. Brands have stopped actually planting a flag and making a statement because they just want to 接地气. They want to get close to the consumers' lives, which is great. But that doesn't mean you can't do something incredible. I mean, let's see. Rice Code. We judged direct and promo. And rice code was one of the entries from Dentsu, I believe. And using colored rice, it changed the dyeing industry, its agriculture, heavily subsidized fading industry, and changed it into tourism. People started taking photos of, it became a tourist destination to visit these rice fields, right? Done up as beautiful paintings because of different colored rice. I think that's TATT. That has grassroots appeal, I mean, literally. But it's also something big and beautiful, and it aspires to something bigger. It makes consumers and users actually feel for this brand, which I think is wonderful. And they tied it to e-commerce and started selling rice directly from farmers to people in the city, the urbanites, and that's brilliant. Art and business married to perfection. Money, cash is king. The first 3 months was particularly hard because, as is true of most clients, big clients, you got to wait 180 days for payment. And we're not like production companies where we take 50% up front. So to all people aspiring to start their own company, you've got to have cash. You've got to have cash. Okay? Second thing is actually establish cash. Second thing is culture. You got to be clear on what you want to be, and what you want to be also comes with what you don't want to be. Because you're kind of desperate for business in your first couple of months, you probably much do everything, but you got to be clear what your DNA is. Because once you're everything, you almost become nothing. But that's the beauty of what we're doing right now. Because brands approach us with a problem, and we don't give them a prescription. Because we're so small, we're not saying, oh yeah, PR is your solution, or promo is your solution, or direct or digital is your solution. To us, I like to tell my kids, right, my teams, right, that we're not a digital agency, but we're an agency for the digital world. And in a digital world, right, you use what solutions you can for your clients' problems. You don't have a preconceived notion of what kind of solutions to provide them. So those were really interesting, actually setting the culture for the company, what we intend to be and what we intend to do. And third, I guess, is clients, I guess. We've been very lucky. Thank you, PepsiCo. This is my little call out to my client. I mean, they supported us in the first few months, and I'm very grateful. And Jack Daniels, I'm very grateful. I guess convincing clients that small can be beautiful, a small agency can do beautiful work, I think that's the third challenge. I think advertising is actually encroached on the borders of entertainment, and I think that excites me because everything we do now, right, is content that can be viewed anytime, any place. I think it was the managing director, CEO of Tmall, part of the Alibaba group, who told me more and more he believes, right, that brands don't have to say things anymore, they have to behave a certain way. And people through social media will actually see and feel for that brand. And that's what excites me. Because I think if we just define ourselves broadly that we're doing ads for our clients, I think that those days are gone. Those days are over. You know? That boat has left.